Ladies and gentlemen, it was President Trump who was supposed to be impeached and disgraced and removed from politics in terms of his influence. It was Trump who was supposed to be this monster, this person who's a totalitarian despot. Now you have a very courageous Democrat, Ron Kim, in New York, going after New York's governor, who presided over the most horrendous decision-making during this pandemic that directly led to a loss of life. Directly led to a loss of life. And, I've been mentioning this. People have been talking about this for months and months and months. And you get this headline in the Washington Post today. Andrew Cuomo, once touted as the gold standard, finds his brand tarnished by multiple crises. Finds his brand tarnished? You're not talking about Coca-Cola or Kleenex or Xerox, or you're not talking about a product. Democrats view everything in terms of public relations. This is an example. This is how the Washington Post views Democratic politicians. Well, his brand is tarnished. He's not a despot, he's not a tyrant, no leaps of logic. He's not irresponsible, he's not inept. He's not he doesn't lack courage or empathy or intelligence or wisdom. He's not volatile. His brand has been tarnished by multiple crises, by the way. With Kavanaugh, they wanted him to resign. With President Trump, it was a hot mic, and so that's it. With President Biden, actually a criminal report filed in a police station against him for what President Trump has never been accused of, but what he talked about in the hot mic. And Democrats don't see the hypocrisy. Joy Behar of The View is a very interesting person. Whenever there is a controversy, where Democrats, are caught with their pants down, literally, perhaps in New York governor's case, what she does is she says, 25 people have gone after Trump. Well, what does it matter if 14 people have gone after Biden? Where does, in the liberal calculus, the morality, and I've unfortunately had to hear this nonsense from people, well, more people went after Trump. Yeah. Did the majority of those people come after he was president? So utilize the same standard by which you judge Biden to judge Trump. And now Cuomo is facing his allegation. The issue is, these are serious matters that affect women, that affect elderly people, that affect society. What Democrats do, and Kamala Harris, we see the difference. When it was Kavanaugh, when it was Trump, grandstanding. Grandstanding. When it's a Democrat, hush hush. The New York Attorney General was forced to resign. Uma Abedin's husband, Bill Clinton. Now you have New York's governor. The lieutenant governor of Virginia. You have a list of Democrats who have gotten off or had favorable media coverage. And then this was willing and consensual, but you have, what's his name, Swalwell falling in love with an intelligence operative, allegedly. So he's done. New York's governor is done. Okay? When the Washington Post is slowly ratcheting up the heat, because they don't go after Democrats with the same fervor, with the same exuberance. No. They don't do that. They don't do that. If it's Biden doing the same things as President Trump, but it's really not the same. It's a little bit different, and therefore we're a lot better. We're moral. Trump is a despot. Everyone sees through this. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'll be doing a live stream, of course, this evening at around 7 p.m. Pacific. And check out my segment prior to this one. It's pretty awesome. It's about Twitter. You definitely want to watch that segment. Hit subscribe to this channel if you want to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, The Daily Caller, The Roanoke Times. Go to hagoodman.com. To my new Patreons, thank you. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment and description. Ladies and gentlemen, I can read you. Andrew Cuomo, once touted as the gold standard, finds his brand tarnished by multiple crises. Multiple crises of his own making. He's the one who had his brother working at CNN. What they do, he actually if bookstores still exist, I guess some of them. But if you go to the bookstore, or you can go on Amazon, you can buy, Cuomo's leadership lessons on the pandemic. This is how warped and clueless and out of touch they are. And this is how influential they are in terms of a media message and propaganda. He's able to actually write a book on leadership lessons. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense at all? Writing a book on leadership lessons. When you've presided over a tragic loss of life because of your own decision making. There's nothing that Trump did. Well, Trump was worse. Trump do. He's not. There's a federal government. They have, people who blame Trump for the pandemic have a very poor grasp of civics. There's a federal government and a state government. Okay? Your life, the laws that you abide by every day are very likely linked to your mayor, to your city and state governments implementing and enforcing those laws. The federal government is different. There are federal laws, sure, that every state has to abide by. But you have the governor of your state who has a great deal more influence on your daily life than the president. And the mayor has even more influence on your daily life than the governor. Politics is local. And it's like you if you're in media, your life's mission for the past 4 years, and let's not even get into the Lincoln Project. Every co-founder has abandoned ship. Then you have $50 million that allegedly, reportedly, the co-founders pocketed from the $90 million they raised. And that's against the law. And then you have all the allegations from the Lincoln Project co-founders. So look at the moral foundation against President Trump. Juicy Smollett, Avenatti, Stormy, New York's Attorney General who was forced to resign years back. Then you have Governor Cuomo, who's now facing his a myriad of crises, multiple crises, as the pandemic ravaged the country. By the way, New York's governor in March 1st of 2019, tweeted out, "The risk remains low for the people of New York. There's no need for undue anxiety." But you won't get Jimmy Kimmel pumping out that tweet. You won't get the tweets from Democratic politicians who downplayed. Notice they use that word downplayed. You won't get an emphasis on the money raised by the Lincoln Project simply to go after President Trump. And by the way, Cheney, Kinzinger, they all voted alongside President Trump over 90% of the time. So it's never been about policies. It's never been about political ideology. It's about image. They care only about image, public relations. Public relations and image. If Democrats didn't have every conceivable possible advantage, they'd cease to be a political party. Okay, I talk about that a little bit on about Twitter. Twitter is running a subscription-based service now, where you can actually pay to experience negativity. So the type of individual that would pay to read tweets from celebrities, I don't know. Like, you need something in your life. If you're that type of person, you need some kind of hobby. Or you need something in your life that will fill that void where you have to go on Twitter and actually read the tweets of certain celebrities or politicians. What they don't like, what Democrats don't get about Trump is that I didn't vote for President Trump. I wouldn't vote for President Trump in 2024 because of his personality. If anything, I want his personality I want him to tone it down for the next 4 years because I want him off of Twitter forever. The best thing they ever did was ban him from Twitter. I like certain elements of his personality. I like the way he fights back. Sometimes it's great to have a bulldozer and a sledgehammer and a counterpuncher, and sometimes it's great to have somebody in your face going up against the system. Great. It's a corrupt city. They set him up and framed him. It's good that he calls that out. But, there's certain things he shouldn't have done. He shouldn't have insulted LeBron James. He shouldn't have insulted NFL athletes. It did him no good. It did the country no good. It allowed Democrats and media to completely erase the fact that he allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever. That's a fact. And made the funding permanent. Signed for the First Step Act. Prison reform legislation. These are good things. We had record low unemployment for most of President Trump's tenure. Go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics right now, ladies and gentlemen. The link is below in the description section. You can go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Take screenshots. The top 12 the states with the highest unemployment rates. The top 12 states with the highest unemployment rates. The top 11, and then including D.C. Top 11 states, including D.C., with the highest unemployment rates from 1 to 11. And I think D.C. is like 12th or 10th or something like that. From 1 to 11, the states with the highest unemployment rate are blue states run by Democratic governors. I think Massachusetts has a Republican government, still is a blue state. The highest unemployment rates, not Trump's fault. Not Trump's fault. The states with the lowest unemployment rate are red states. Okay? So you cannot blame Trump for the pandemic. It's so easy to refute it's his fault. He presided over it. Yeah, you want to know who else presided over it? Every Democratic governor that had the worst outcomes. Go to the New York Times statistics. You don't need, I was against absurd message boards from day one. I told people, I said, don't listen to absurd message boards. Now you see what's taking place. Go to hagoodman.com. You could see my debate. I debated Jordan Sather. I told everyone. I told him. I told everyone. The whole thing was a dangerous hoax. I stated, nobody should believe this. Watch the last 20 minutes of the debate. Or I show the world that the whole thing is a hoax and a very, very absurd and really like a nefarious type of just horrible thing that nobody should listen to. That could lead to really, really terrible consequences. And we see what happened. I was 2 plus years ahead. That was in the end of 2018. Watch that debate. My God almighty. I told people to get off of Twitter. I'm not right about everything. Fine. If I go out on a limb, what does it matter? Same person. Same person is president now. Who cares? I mean, I can go into it. I'm not even going to talk about it. Because that touches upon a whole bunch of things. But it doesn't matter if I go out on a limb and say, this person will be Democratic nominee. Who cares? Who cares? At least I provide a certain level of wisdom that you're not going to get from, a lot of media. And notice how, I would be all for Democrats finding out who started that message board hoax. LMNOP nonsense. I would be all for Democrats, the FBI, whatever, finding out who started that nonsense to deceive people. I mean, my God, ladies and gentlemen, the future is bright, but you gotta make it bright. You gotta focus on your life and your happiness, your family, your friends, and you have to, in a peaceful and positive way, in terms of strategy, say, okay, what kind of political party do I want to be a part of? Or I'm not a part of the Republican Party or Democratic Party. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I used to be the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. I became a supporter of President Trump, and I voted for President Trump because he allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities. He reversed U.S. foreign policy. Foreign policy drives me. You see what took about a month. It took 1 month. With President Biden, 1 month had to be a record. That has to be a record. Go look at every president for the past 100 years. A month into their presidency, on a topic that I can't talk about, or I just, I'm a YouTuber. I'd like to talk about things, but I'd like to be monetized. You say certain things, oh my God. But a month in, go look at what's taking place now. And you have multiple of investigations with New York's governor. The Lincoln Project imploded. They're completely disgraced. And you have a press secretary, deputy press secretary forced to resign for going after a Politico reporter. I mean, they're not bringing up anything. And this, by the way, is... And then you have President Trump speaking at the Conservative Political Action Committee. So he's going to consolidate political influence and power there. And so you have, ladies and gentlemen, you have a situation where if you wanted foreign policy, like I wanted a reversal of U.S. foreign policy. Now we have the neoconservatives back, the smart power people. There's the difference between Mitt Romney and Pelosi is a smile or more political correctness, especially in terms of foreign policy. They're the same people. That's why President Trump, he removed Americans from regions of the world. That they shouldn't be in. He ended covert arms deals. Okay? And he was willing to expedite our withdrawal from those locations. Even Bernard Sanders said there has to be an orderly withdrawal. That's the main reason I was so passionate about Bernie Sanders back in the day. And then I realized that he's part of a racket and a scam. And he's pretty much a fraud when it comes to politics. They've marketed him as a crotchety, look at Bernard, oh my God. Oh, look at him. They're not going to get $15 minimum wage. They're not going to get even the stimulus checks they want. They won't get anything. But he pushed Democrats more towards his direction. So what? Democrats learned that they don't need the left. The far left doesn't really exist. The far left, you have individuals who are just younger, like millennial versions of liberal Democrats. The neoliberals, they call them, who are like in their 40s and 50s and 30s. Okay, the far left with the communist hammer and sickle and socialist, they'll vote blue no matter who. Very few people are Green Party people or People's Party people, or very few on the left actually say, no, I'll be willing to be disparaged or disowned by friends or whatever. I'm not voting Democrat, and I don't care if it helps Trump. Because at the end of the day, Trump signed... You cannot be a despot if you signed prison reform legislation. Sorry, you can't be a despot if you remove Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. You literally have to be the most ignorant person to look at history and say despots and tyrants were known for prison reform. This is not what they're known for. So anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back tonight, about 7 p.m. or so. And ladies and gentlemen, the future is bright. Like President Trump, really, when you look at what's taking place, they are like, the momentum is on his side. It's just that without media running interference, you wouldn't even really have a Democrat. Without late night media, Hollywood, intelligence operatives, every single publication, major political publication in the tank for the Democratic Party, you wouldn't have a functioning political party. You really wouldn't. They need to foment as much animosity towards Trump, and unfortunately, he gave them that. He allowed them to do all of that. But they need to foment as much animosity towards Trump just to have a functioning political party. If they were actually like middle of the road, media was like didn't care, like media used to be, and they were just objective, Trump would like have no competition. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. His accomplishments speak for themselves. His personality and the tweets that he fell into a trap with all of that. Give me your thoughts below. New York's governor is pretty much done. at this point, which is another one goes after Trump and smoliers themselves. Give me your thoughts.